What's going on, good peoples? It is yours truly once again, Mike, back here with you at Mike in the Game in college football week 6. Did not disappoint. It was seen, and I'm not gonna lie to you, a lot of people saw this week as a boring week of college football, but it's probably the most interesting week of college football, to say the least. There were plenty of upsets left and right, from Alabama to Missouri. Plenty of round of upsets during this week, but we're gonna talk about a couple of games that really stood out to me, give my couple of takeaways, and we're gonna talk about what should we expect with week 7, October 12th, the week that everybody's been waiting for this whole entire college football season. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, the first game we'll talk about is Texas A&M versus Missouri, and this game definitely set the tone for upsets early within the day. It was at the 12 o'clock slot for this game, and both of these teams are ranked within the top 25, but Texas A&M showed up and showed out. This was the first game Connor Weigman came back from injury, and he was no slouch at all. He came and impressed and showed out with 276 yards total and was 18 of 22 in the air. But it didn't just stop with him. This whole team was playing an all-around complimentary football that coaches love to see, and we love to see going forward as competition starts to get bigger and bigger and better, because it's gonna definitely get better, because we're about midway through the season. Competition is definitely gonna be tougher. But back to complimentary football, they were definitely hitting it in all 3 phases of this game: offense, defense, special teams. They had a total of 6 sacks in this game. DBs were showing up in crucial moments, besides that penalty that could have been, very crucial for Missouri's drive. DBs were definitely showing up in crucial moments, in crucial situations that stopped Missouri from making the big play, which is really what they were trying to get, the big play. And as well, on offense, they had explosive plays in the run game as well. We already know Connor Weigman was airing it out, but they had explosive plays in the run game, had a 75-yard touchdown run by Le'Veon Moss, which was huge, coming straight out of halftime, which helped set the tone for the rest of the game. Now, this game was really important for Texas A&M because now they are number 15 in the college football rankings, and if they can keep putting the pressure on, showing the intensity to the rest of the committee, this can help their chances of making the college football playoffs, because you never know what could happen. Obviously, this week was crazy, but you never know. Now, going forward with the rest of their season, they got some big-time opponents coming up: LSU, Auburn, and the University of Texas, who is number 1 in the nation. So it's going to be really crucial for them to continue to bring the intensity, show up and show out, so they can have a chance of making the college football playoffs. Now, we had to talk about it. We have to talk about Bama versus the University of Vanderbilt. And this is what I mean. I did a segment about a couple weeks ago talking about teams are definitely starting to catch up. The transfer portal is helping out. Recruiting is helping out. Coaches are definitely a big factor in this, and things are starting to change. Vanderbilt is not the old Vanderbilt that we used to know all these years. They used to get blown up by everybody. This is a new version of Vanderbilt. Now, the big things that really stood out and really hurt Alabama was obviously the turnovers. Jalen Milroe's interception and the strip sack late in the game, where it really mattered the most. Both of these crucial turnovers led to obviously touchdowns that really helped shift the game to a whole different direction. But Vanderbilt's run game in the pistol formation is really what killed Alabama in this game. Vanderbilt had a total of 252 yards, and it really showed because they were dominating the line of scrimmage and getting big chunks of yards each run. Now, my personal thought and takeaway from this game, as being a previous college football athlete, I personally believe they overlooked Vanderbilt after having a huge game against the University of Georgia, which was a really good game. They probably overlooked Vanderbilt, pretty much saying they just previously beat one of the best teams in the nation, in the SEC at that as well. So we're just like, all right, well, it's another week. We're going to blow right past them. But Vanderbilt, chip on the shoulder, underdog, came and showed out. And this week, Alabama does play the University of South Carolina, and it's going to be a real big game for them to show up and show out and show us, like, hey, you're still in the top 10. You need to show us what you can do. Bounce back. And it's really going to be good to have another win underneath their belt. Now, for Miami and California, I'm not going to lie to y'all. After about halftime, when Cam Ward threw the interception across his body, I'm not going to lie to y'all. I turned this game off because I pretty much thought it was over. Woke up the next morning, checking my phone, realizing that Miami came back in this game, which is the crazy part about it. I go back and watch the highlights, and I'm like, there's just no way. There's no way that they really chipped back into this game and won it. I don't have any words to say. That's just Clutch. Clutch is probably the biggest word. Clutch is definitely the biggest word in this type of scenario, that they were able to come back and win this game. Had they lost this game, I would have been very curious to see where they would have landed in the college football rankings. I think I would have had them at the 10th spot. If they had lost, you know, they're still a good, you know, team overall, playing really good complementary football in all three phases, good on offense and defense as well. I think I would have had them around the 10th spot based upon all the other teams that are ranked in the, you know, 10th through 15th, you know, rankings right there. I think that would have been like probably the sweet spot for them, but they clutched it out. Cam Ward clutched it out, showed up, showed out. Now looking ahead to October 12th, one of the biggest days in the regular season of college football, we have Oregon versus University of Ohio State. Obviously, these are two teams that have high firepower on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. They're pretty much identical and have playmakers all over the field. But I ultimately believe it's going to come down to turnovers. Which team can cause and force more turnovers and capitalize on it when it matters the most. Now, last week we saw both quarterbacks have some interceptions. Obviously, Howard had an interception against the University of Iowa. Dylan Gabriel had one against the University of Michigan State. So it's going to be important of how much each team's defense can make those quarterbacks uncomfortable to cause a turnover to make a difference in this game. Now, this is just one game I'm definitely going to be looking forward to. Be sure to check out my TikTok where I will be discussing the rest of the matchups that are going on this weekend, so be sure to stay tuned for that. But this is going to wrap it up from yours truly here. I appreciate y'all for checking out the video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and I will catch y'all in the next one.